Thank you everyone for coming. Familiar surroundings. 3 years ago, we introduced a hands-free law in Georgia. Going all the way back to 2010, we introduced Caleb's Law for texting initially, but then we came back in 2018 with a hands-free law. We're coming back this year to strengthen the hands-free law. I'm happy to report that traffic fatalities, since we first started talking about distracted driving in Georgia, from 2016 to 2019, traffic fatalities overall, total numbers are down 4.5%. If you factor in population and traffic fatalities are actually down 12%, and that's a very good sign. 2020 was a kind of a miss with COVID-19 and everything going on, but we're looking to increase our emphasis to crack down on distracted driving. And I've introduced a bill today, have several signers, several committee chairmen, to get rid and repeal the first-time waiver. That is the waiver that basically says if I introduce an affidavit in court, then I will be found not guilty. We're getting rid of that waiver. In addition, we're keeping the fines flat and simple, no increases at $50, $100, and $150, flat, simple, and even. What we found is that these affidavits simply are not enforceable, and in my mind, as well as many in the Georgia House and hopefully in the General Assembly, we just think it's time for this loophole to go. Quite simply, folks, it's time to close this loophole and save more lives. We're on a great trajectory, and I'd love to see us do more. I have some folks with me today, as you can see behind me. Next person to speak is going to be Barry Morgan. Barry is the Solicitor General for Cobb County. Barry?
Thank you, John. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. On behalf of the Georgia Association of District Attorneys and the Georgia Association of Solicitors General, we support the changes that Representative Carson is making today. With me today, standing with me, is Shannon Wallace, who is the president of the District Attorneys Association and the District Attorney in Cherokee County, and Pam Bettis, who is the Solicitor General in Henry County. The associations have been against this first-time waiver since it was first initially introduced many years ago because it is a legal fiction. It states that if you come to court and you show proof of having purchased a hands-free device, then you shall not be guilty of the offense. That is a legal fiction. And there's no way to enforce that. There's no repository of these affidavits. Most judges across the state aren't utilizing the affidavits anyway. They're calling the defendant up. They're asking them, do you have a Bluetooth device? And once that's done, then the case is over and we have to dismiss the case. So we heartily support Representative Carson's efforts to make these changes and would encourage all members of the Georgia General Assembly to vote and pass this bill. Thank you so much.
Next, I'd like to ask Butch Ayers to come up from the Chiefs of Police Association. Butch.
Good morning. On behalf of the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police, I'd like to say that we do support these changes with this bill. Again, this is about saving lives. All we have to do is, on our daily commutes, look around at cars that go past us, at intersections, et cetera. And there's a decent percentage of those people out there that are using phones or texting. It's been against the law for years. Everyone is well aware of the hands-free requirements. And I think it's time that we, increase the enforceability of that. Again, this is about saving lives, and I appreciate the opportunity to be up here today. Thank you.
Folks, that's all we really had as far as comments and so forth. I'm happy to take a few questions. I think some of you may, based on some of your feedback. I hope Barry and Butch didn't go too far away. But bottom line is, it's time to move forward. The Georgia hands-free law has about 99% awareness among Georgia drivers as of 2 years ago. It is time to close this loophole and it's time to save lives. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But the bill has already been dropped. I do not have a House bill number, but there will be one this evening. Yeah, the question, I'm just going to repeat the question just for everybody. The question is, in the past, I've looked at raising the fines. Why am I not trying to do that now? I'm trying to find a delicate balance in today's political environment. There's some of my friends in the General Assembly that want the fines to start at $1,000. There's some people that want the fines to start no more than $25. What we're trying to do is move something forward that's enforceable and that is really going to save lives. All this money is kept in the county and municipal courts. To me, I just want the behavior to stop. But more important to me is to have a good bill that's enforceable, that the solicitors general and the district attorneys can enforce in court rather than having something perfect. Again, Dave, I appreciate your question. I have tried to raise the fines to create more of a deterrence, but right now we just want to have a good bill that passes. So Sandra with WSB asked a question, do we have any numbers in regard to how many of these affidavits have been filled out? We don't. And we don't, as best of my knowledge, and that's part of the problem, that there is no central database to store all these affidavits. There's no way to track how many there have been. I understand that some court systems are not even recording a piece of paper or anything like that. They're just basically getting up a number of people standing up saying, yes, I have a hands-free bracket, I have a hands-free receipt, and they move forward. So there's no way of counting that. And so that's part of the problem. Not only is there not a way of counting how many of these have been, because again, Sandra, it's all at the county level and the city level. This is not kept by state patrol or what have you. It's at the city and county level. It's not tracked at that level. Therefore, it cannot be aggregated, and it certainly cannot be communicated across jurisdictions from county to city to city. Well, then that gets into, yeah. So the question is, if you can't count the first offense, how do you know you have a second offense? I'm going to defer to Barry Morgan, who I hope he hasn't left yet, to answer that question.
I don't want to get too much into the weeds technically, but there is no way to count it. And let's say that an individual came into Cobb County, they get a ticket for hands-free violation, they come to court, they show their receipt, and then they're allowed to, the case is dismissed. They go then to our friends in Paulding County and they get a hands-free. There's no record because they're not guilty of that first offense. There's no record on their driving history. So therefore, they can stand up in front of another judge and say, I've never done this before. They could do that in multiple jurisdictions all over the state. There would be internally, we would have our own internal records that would show that, and we wouldn't allow someone to take advantage of it a second time. But if they move from the city of Marietta to Cobb County Court, those are different jurisdictions, and we don't have those records available.
The question was how much are traffic fatalities up in 2020? That's still being finalized. It takes 6, 7, 8 months for that to be finalized. The early numbers are that 2020 fatalities are up about 14% over 2019, unfortunately. And a lot of that has to do with, obviously, COVID-19, it's an impact. It's keeping people at home. The roads are less used. There's much less traffic, so people are speeding as a result. In addition to distracted driving. Butch, did you want to say anything about the speeding?
Yeah, one of the things, can you hear me? One of the things that we did see, although there was a lot less traffic on the highways in 2020 due to the COVID-19, but as a result of fewer cars on the road, what we did see is an increase in the overall speeds of motorists, on the highways, and of course, a lot of the accidents did result from excessive speeds.
As of right now, like I said, the bill has been dropped with the clerk's office. It'll be signed to committee tomorrow. I'm not sure what committee, but I imagine it'll be, I'm hoping to have a committee hearing very soon, and I know it's got the support of a number of chairmen in the Georgia House. One more question, if anybody has one. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much.